everybody, welcome back to my mini series, My Diet Journey from a Biblical Perspective. And today I'll be talking about what I personally believe we will be eating in heaven. And in all honesty, because I believe that the Bible does tell us that we start in Eden, we end in Eden, right? And so with this, I've already sort of touched a base on it, but I kind of wanted to share my reasoning behind why I feel like God is really encouraging us to partake in this. And the reason for it is because I've seen a lot of issues regarding food throughout the scriptures. So for example, the whole reason the fall even started was because of appetite. Eve did not adhere to the rules regarding not eating the tree of knowledge, and she ended up eating it, and of course we know the rest is history. And then you've got the story in Genesis with Jacob and Esau, where Esau was willing to basically give up his entire birthright for a bowl of soup. He did not have temperance. And then again, we are challenged with diet when you see Daniel, Azariah, Mishael, and Hananiah all being challenged with eating the king's meat and versus eating the food that they know is better for their health. We also see this in Revelation, where it says that nobody will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast. And so it makes you think that diet is going to play a huge role in the end times, which I definitely believe it will be. We are going to be challenged with our appetite, with diet, and with having temperance over the types of foods that we eat. And so when you look in Genesis chapter 129, it says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." Again, it's repeated in Genesis 2:16, that the Lord God commanded the man, saying, "Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat." So here in Eden, again, we're having this picture that seed-bearing food is the only thing that they were allowed to eat. Now, when we look at this scientifically, there are only two types of plants that produce seeds that are edible. Some of it edible, some of it not, okay? But my point is that there are two types of plants that do this. So one is called angiosperms and gymnosperms. So angiosperms are probably ones that we're more familiar with, since we see the flower and then a fruit is produced. And this is common with like your tomatoes, your cauliflower, your chives, basils, mints, apples, oranges, lemons. Those are things that generally have a flower first and then the fruit comes second. Then we have gymnosperms, which basically don't have a fruit or a flower. They produce seeds only. And so this would be like your pine trees, right? So pine nuts. And then you've got ginkgo nuts or English yew as an example. And so this is what I believe Adam and Eve were eating. They were eating herbs, nuts, and fruit. And then when you look in Revelation 22, verse 2, it says, "In the midst of the street of it," and this is referring to God's throne, and on either side of the river that's flowing through the midst of the throne, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So again, we see this huge tree that bears fruit. It doesn't imply that it is going to just be seeds. And so I'm assuming that this is probably going to be an angiosperm type of tree where it's going to yield flowers and then a fruit. I have no idea. But either way, the fact that it even produces 12 different types of fruit is pretty amazing to me. So I don't know how that works, but since God created it, I'm sure it is phenomenal. But I think of this passage as telling us that there is not going to be, one, any animals, because remember in Revelation 21, 1 through 3, it says that there will be no more death, no more crying, and if there's no more death, that means no animals are being killed to be eaten. So that kind of rules out that sector there and inputs fruitarian. And so I didn't get a chance to say my 3 reasons as to why I thought diet appetite and temperance was going to be an issue for the last day people. And the reason diet I think is going to be an issue is because I think that a lot of the foods are going to be processed, and we're no longer going to be really consuming real foods coming from the ground and growing. The second would be appetite, and I think that it's going to be a very similar situation with like Esau, where people are going to start selling their birthright for food. And they're going to be sacrificing their inheritance of heaven for the temporary. And lastly, why I think temperance is going to be an issue is that there are going to be people who are going to live gluttonously, and there are people who are not going to share what they have with others who are in need. And because it says that the love of many will wax cold, and I think people are going to be in it for themselves. And I think these are the things that God has been trying to help us as Christians to understand and to help us cultivate a better character before he comes. So I hope that that's something you guys really think about as you think of the last days. And in the meantime, I really do hope that we are working out our salvation, and that we're really thinking about how we are to look at food and to try to go as natural as possible. And I know this is definitely a challenge for me as well, and something I'm slowly weeding myself out as we still have time, but keeping that in mind for the long term. Anyways, let's get back to what I was saying. Because I feel a lot of food has been or will be either corrupted or withheld. People are going to go back to eating straight from the ground like they should be. And as someone who loves to go foraging, I'm learning more and more that there are thousands of plants out there that have so many benefits to us. And a lot of the times we've overlooked them because, one, we haven't gained all of the knowledge that should have been passed down to us. We have removed ourselves from understanding that all the plants that we have some purposeful use for that benefits our health. And so with that, I will be segueing into my next video, which is how my diet has helped me and challenged me all at the same time. And this one I hope encourages you, but also I hope you end up learning a lot. And if you guys have enjoyed some of these videos and have learned a lot in terms of how, you know, some people have come to their own personal understanding of merging their faith and their diet as a Christian, I hope that you just subscribe, share it, like it. I more than appreciate the support, and thank you guys so much. And from this point on, there'll be a definite movement towards much more fitness stuff, as that's a passion of mine, and of course food, as I want to help everybody live and thrive. So take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.